Today is January 14th, 2026. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, Students for Life has released data from its fourth annual survey of Christian colleges and universities. They found that of the 725 schools they survey, 114 have had some connection or association with Planned Parenthood. That seems amazing to me that that number is so high. President Kristen Hawkins has been very blunt. Quote, "You can't be Christian and be pro-abortion. It's not something you can be flexible on," unquote. Now, maybe she used the word flexible because Donald Trump used that term last week, arguing that maybe the issue of the Hyde Amendment and Obamacare subsidies, it's a little fluid and you've got to be flexible. I don't know if there's a connection there, but she did say it's not something you can be flexible on. I agree. This was a huge increase since the Dobbs decision in 2022. Most of these schools have listed or referred to Planned Parenthood as a health resource. Now, not to say that they're referring to Planned Parenthood as the health clinic on campus, but it is considered, or for some of these schools, as a health resource. The good news is that since the 2025 survey of last year, 25 schools have moved up into the A+ bracket by promoting pregnancy care centers, an increase of almost 14% since 2024. So there are good signs, but there are still troubling signs among some of these schools. And now the article I read did not list any schools, whether A+ or D-. So I have no idea what schools were in that 114 bad category. So we'll leave it at that. Now, moving on, 2 states have 2 different abortion policies that are being pursued. South Carolina lawmakers just introduced a bill that would extend existing homicide and wrongful death laws to cover the killing of an unborn child through abortion from the moment of conception. And the bill has no exceptions for rape or incest. And I might remind everyone that South Carolina is a very conservative state. So I do think this bill will pass. The opposite, though, is happening in Virginia. This very week, the Reproductive Freedom Act is being debated. Now, this is kind of complicated because back in 2025, the same bill, the Reproductive Freedom Act, was debated in the General Assembly in Virginia, and it passed. So it's coming up for another vote this year, this week. And the reason is that if it passes again, the bill will automatically go on the ballot as a referendum. Sometime in 2026. Doesn't mean it's going to be on the ballot in the midterm. It could be before then. But so it sounds like if you want to make a ballot proposal, it has to go through a 2-stage legislative vote. I think if you just get a petition drive and get something on the ballot, that's different. You don't need a legislative vote. But if you want the voters to vote, and I'm assuming here this is would probably be a change to the state constitution. I don't know about that, but the article didn't say. But anyway, that's coming up. LifeNews.com reports that the configuration between Democrats and Republicans in the state Senate is very, very close. And this is interesting. If one senator who voted pro-abortion last year in 2025, if one senator changes his vote, whether he's got a new conviction or he's uncertain about the ramifications, if one senator changes his vote this week and votes pro-life, or at least votes against the Reproductive Freedom Act, then the vote in the state Senate will be a tie. And what's interesting, according to Virginia law, the lieutenant governor cannot be the tiebreaker. In a lot of states or in the U.S., with the vice president can break a tie in the U.S. Senate. In a lot of states, the lieutenant governor can break a tie in state legislatures. But in Virginia, the lieutenant governor has no authority to break a tie. So I'm assuming that if it was a tie, the bill dies. And it dies in the sense that it doesn't go to the voters. I think what would happen is if it doesn't pass this year, they would fall back on the bill that already passed back in 2025. So it's still not necessarily good news, but at least it would not permit it to be a state ballot referendum that would put abortion basically through all stages of pregnancy into the Virginia state constitution. So we'll keep our eye on that as that develops. Final thought, yesterday I talked last time about yesterday's oral argument before the Supreme Court on two transgender in sports combination. And, I'm not sure if you heard the oral argument. I heard the first 2 hours on Fox News on TV yesterday, but they didn't cover the second vote, the second case coming out of West Virginia. They only heard the one out of Idaho. But from what I could tell, it does seem like there is support for upholding the state laws in Idaho and West Virginia to prevent or ban biological boys who I identify as girls from participating in girls' sports. So that's good news. With that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.